So hi, One of the Good Noise Podcast. We're here with Jim from When Nothing Works. We're going to ask him some questions today. I'm going to start. What inspired you to start the band, and what does the band name mean?
All right, let's let's take it in. So they were looking for a vocalist. They were in an old band called Al Condolence. So I basically tried out for them. I've been out of the scene for a while, so to speak. Like, I hadn't been in a band for a while. I just sort of knocked it in the head. So I was about 25, 26 when I stopped it. Like, just stopped doing stuff musically, and I was like, I've just had enough of it all. So I took a long, I guess, a hiatus from it all because I was just sick of it all. And then I went and just tried out for these lads in February. I think it was February of this year, actually. In fact, it was February this year. So yeah, it was pretty soon. And yeah, so that's how that inspired. And I think the band name came from an old song of theirs called When Nothing Works, which was going to be part of the Our Condolences set. And I've heard that song, and I think it's a song we use now, but I can't remember which song it is. But I know my version is much better than their version, so there we go.
That's fair. That's fair. So, what is your writing process like?
Oh, gee. Right. So basically, I think Ben and Adam are the main songwriters. Adam's the drummer. He's multi-talented. He's unbelievably talented, that geezer. I'm sure he's going to love hearing this. His ego's going to go through the roof. He's the band dad. He's the oldest of the band, and he's got a kid and a wife, and he's very, very sensible, mostly. And Ben's undoubtedly the alcoholic of the band. He's going to love me for saying that on this. He's going to be like, cheers, Jim. He wouldn't deny it, so it's all right. Luke, he is the other guitarist. He's trying to get some stuff in, but just he hasn't had the equipment, so he's not been able to get into there. So anyway, so they basically come up with the music. Adam basically he knocks up whole songs entirely. He just knocks them all up, and he's unbelievable. So he sends all the music over, or Ben will send some of the music over because he's got the equipment to record as well. And they just send it to me, and I'll just write stuff, and that's it. I sort of get a melody in the head, or I'll get some words, and I'm just like, okay, cool.
All right.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Very simple. So congrats on your new single, Hungover Guilt. How do you guys feel about the response to that so far?
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming, actually. Just hearing nice things said about it, it's really, really nice, actually. It's really embarrassing. I'm not used to nice things being said. Well, I am used to nice things being said, but not nice things about things I've written about. And I was like, oh, this is quite different.
Yeah.
This is unique, and I could get used to this. So it's really, really cool, man. I'm glad people are digging it. You know, honestly, I'm really glad. Like, it's I like that song.
That's good.
So happy to hear that. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
where was your headspace while making that single?
Do you want the really blunt version? Of course you do. It's a podcast.
Go for it.
A friend of mine, and this is crazy again. So this all happened in January. It was on our Twitter because Ben posted on our Twitter a few years ago, and I was like, it wasn't a few years ago. It happened in January, so you're wrong already. But he was like, okay. So in January, a friend of mine, she was sexually abused at a party we'd gone to, and I was in the room next door, and I had no idea that it was going on. Like, you know. I had no idea what the crack was until she came into the room. And I saw her face, and I went, "Oh fuck!" Like, sorry, can I swear? All right, cool.
Yeah, you're good.
Cool. I'm just making sure. I didn't know if it was a censored podcast, but I was like,
Oh no.
yeah. Oh, good. There we go. And I was like, yeah. So I was like, fuck. And I saw her face, and I knew something had happened, and she told us what had happened, and I just went, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So when they sent me the music for Hungover Guilt, I just sat there and I just went, just wrote it all. I think I knocked it down about 15 minutes. I was like, bang, done. Or even less than that. I think it's 10, 15 minutes. I just went, bang. I just went, this is huge. I was fuming. So that was like the end of to the end of January. And then I got sent the track in like early February. And I remember that I had the two demo tracks. One was eventually Coward, and the other one was Hungover Guilt, which eventually and I just wrote them both out. I heard the songs and I went, well, I've got stuff to vent about, so just both of them just got knocked out, and I was like, yeah, there you go.
All right.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a bit of a deep one, but yeah, I'm glad to have got it off my chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you're making music, what bands influence it?
I think it depends on who you speak to in the band. It's a very various amount of people, very various amount of. They might slap me for this, but I definitely have maybe I've got the biggest range of tastes in the band. I do have the biggest range of taste. I think we've only played 2 shows after lockdown because of coronavirus. Yeah. So we played 1 show and then 3 days later everything got locked down.
Yeah.
But I think for them it's like Counterparts, Stray from the Path, maybe a bit of Beartooth.
Mm-hmm.
That's for them lads. For me, Killswitch Engage are a massive influence for me. I've been into that band for a long time. But again, other bands like Biffy Clyro, 100 Reasons, but even just guys like, for example, The Streets, I can listen to that guy and be like, yeah, that's like, you listen to his lyrics and like, and it's just such clever, and I'm like, I'd like to write something like that. Mm-hmm. But obviously, it's slightly different in that sense. But those, I guess, are some of the basic bands. August Burns Red are another one. They're a big influence on the whole band. Like, you know, and I think you can hear that. But I think we've got songs in there that I definitely think are definitely more of that post-hardcore. Like, we've got Coward and Hungover Guilt, which Coward definitely is, I think, more of a straight-up metal song. But we've got our new single, Breakthrough, which will be coming out soon. That's definitely got more of a post-hardcore vibe to it. Mm-hmm. Like, definitely, I would definitely easily say that it's definitely got some like early 2000s Brit rock vibe to it, which, well, I grew up with that, so I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, solid taste. So, is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while listening to your music?
Yeah, I mean, just to enjoy it, really. Like, if people enjoy it, and you know, it's again, if people like the songs, then that's the main thing to me. Like, when I was in a band called So Excited many years ago, when I was like 17, 18, 19, you know, people used to be like, oh, they're great songs and they'd love them and blah, blah, blah. I was like, wicked, I'm glad you enjoy it. But I don't think anyone had any clue what I was writing about. So everyone was like, yeah, they're great songs. We moshed to them and beat each other up. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's great. But I don't know, like, no one seemed to have a clue what I was writing about. And it was a bit like, oh, that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But now I'm older, it's like, people are like, oh, cool. So, you know, this song's about that and that song's about that. And that makes me feel this way. And I'm like,
yeah, people are getting it now.
It's really nice. It's just cool, you know. I just want people to feel positive and happy. And, well, even though some of these songs aren't positive and happy, I want them to feel like, yeah, these are good times.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, understandable.
So you said you had a single in the works coming out soon. Is there anything else in the works you can tell us about? Anything bigger?
Yeah. Bigger. Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. We've got a couple of shows lined up. They're not massive shows. Well, one of them's not. Well, I think they're quite important shows, but one of them definitely. We are booked to hopefully play. I think we're booked to play the Camden Underworld in February, which is the fucking mecca of like. It's like, oh my god, like what a venue.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen so many bands there. I don't know if you guys know about it. I know you guys are in the States, but it's like one of the holy grails of like hardcore and metal. Mm-hmm. Like a 500 venue, no barrier, just stage dives, proper venue. And I've played it once before, but it was like a pay to play show. Yeah. And it was just, it was a bit like, so it was cool to play. It was like the Underworld, but it was also a bit like, oh, this is a bit.
Yeah.
So, but this is going to be like a proper show. I can't say much more on that, but I'm just like, this is so cool to go and play. Like, all the band are hyped for it, all of us. Like, it's just going to be so exciting to go and not tick off the Underworld and just be like, yes, I've done it properly. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, really excited for that. Really hoping for that. But yeah, we've got another single, Breakthrough, that will be coming out in August, end of August, early September. We're going to try and get a single out each month because there's nothing else to do. So, I mean, we're not going to write an album because, you know, we're obviously an unsigned band. We're not, you know, there's nothing to really stop us. And also as well, people consume music in different ways now. So, I mean, if we got signed to a little label or something like that and they went, write an album, then yeah, I'd love to write an album. But, you know, for now, it's just like, we might as well just release singles and just see how it all goes. But what else have we got? So yeah, Breakthrough's next one. I think we've got another one after that called Give the Man a Hand. Mm-hmm. I think the next one after that is called Drag.
Okay.
And then after that, I don't know what the next ones are, but we do them basically in batches of 3. So it'll be like single, and then we'll be working on the next 3 singles while those are coming out.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good process, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, would you ever take those singles that you're releasing over the course of a couple months and put them in an EP?
We have thought about it. But I think where people now can just like use like Spotify and Apple Music and all that, and they can make playlists.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like we need to. I mean, we have spoke about maybe just doing like B-sides and being like, oh, that song's good, but we could just use it as a B-side. And we've also just said, why don't we just do it as a double A-side? Like, you know, just do it as a split single. Like, we were talking about some music that's been untouched by Ben, and he was just like, what if we just took these two songs? Because one was a very slow, it was only 2 minutes long. It's a very, very slow piece of music, definitely different to what we normally release. And the other one was like a 53-second piece of like just punk rock, and I was like, we could just do that as like a double A side. Just do like boom boom, just do it as a split single.
Yeah.
And we'll release it online, stuff like that. But as an EP, I don't think I'd want to do an EP unless there was, again, unless we had some sort of resources for it. Because I think as an unsigned band, I wouldn't want to spend a ton of money just knocking up EPs when people nowadays, like a lot of people nowadays, there's a lot of streaming and stuff. I mean, I still buy CDs and vinyl, but that's because, you know, that's what I love. But I know a lot of people nowadays, they don't have the space to buy CDs or buy vinyls and all that sort of thing. Or, well, to be honest, we wouldn't be able to afford to make a vinyl EP anyway, but you know what I mean. But yeah, maybe in the future, but for now, no, I think it would just keep being singles.
Okay.
Okay. Makes sense. So, where do you see the band in the next 5 years?
Probably split up.
Oh, no!
Oh, I don't know, really. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to keep doing it, but I mean, it all depends. I mean, Adam's 34 now, so he'll be pushing like 39. I'm 32, so I'll be pushing 37. So, unless something dramatic happens in that couple of years, then I think it would just be a case of, you know, I mean, you know, and again, it's one of those things, it's like, Ben's the youngest, but Ben will be like 30. Luke's like 30, I think himself, so I'll be 35. And stuff like that. So I think it's one of those where, you know, it's not trying to sound negative, it's just a case of who knows what will happen. If we get a bit of momentum together, then who knows how long we can ride it out. But, you know, unfortunately, obviously other things have got to weigh up. You know, again, Adam's got a family, Luke's got a family, you know, they've both got full-time jobs. We've all got jobs because, you know, no money to be made in the music industry anymore. But we've all got jobs, and again, two of us are family, so we need to think about that sort of side of it. So in 5 years, don't be wrong, in 5 years I'd love to be able to be like, yeah, we're just touring, playing big shows.
Yeah.
Like that would be amazing. Just you know, success is how you view success, I suppose. So if they turned around and said, what did you do? And it was like, I supported this band at like Brixton Academy or something like that, then I'd be like, yeah, that's success.
Yeah.
But in 5 years, we got to just, I suppose we'll see what it is. Let's see what happens with coronavirus first, because right now I think that's also going to dictate how well this all goes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So for the last couple of questions, we're going to shift away from music and go straight to death row. So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, bloody hell. My last meal. Oh, go on. I'll have a proper roast dinner. Proper British thing. Proper roast dinner. Probably a can of lemon Fanta, maybe.
All right.
Lemon Fanta is a godsend.
All right.
All right.
Solid. So, if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Cybertron. I'm a big Transformers fan. Huge Transformers fan. So I was just like, yeah, go on. Cybertron will do.
All right.
I'd love to go check that. You know, big metal robots walking around the place. I'd be like, go on, son.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Optimus. Let's go for a spin, mate. Come on.
Let's go.
And I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person we've spoken to has said the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Oh, black.
There you go. That's some taste.
Okay. Solid.
You know, just, you know, I don't know. Just I've always just loved it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose it's if it doesn't count, then I'll go with red. But you know,
Red.
Yeah.
Red.
Yeah. All right.
You know, but there we go. Those are my favorites. That's it.
Yeah.
Taste.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Yeah. Come check us out on Instagram. WNW Band. Come check us out on Twitter. WNW Band. Facebook, When Nothing Works Band. Yeah, just come find us on all our social medias and just come say hello. Like Ben's on the Twitter, posting some sort of bollocks on there probably, as he normally
The
does.
Twitter is wild. I love it.
Fucking needs to cut it out. Ben, stop being a knob on Twitter. But yeah, and I don't even know who runs the Facebook page. I don't do any of it. I'll just let them all get on with it. I don't know who runs the Instagram. I don't know who runs Facebook. I know Ben runs Twitter.
But we
he's
all
only
know
one,
the
but I don't
Twitter's
know.
the Twitter is Ben's
I
fault.
know. Yeah, Ben, it's all your fault, mate.
Goddamn
But
Ben.
yeah, check out the singles as well on Apple, on all the streaming services, man. Coward, Hurt Hill, and Hungover Guilt. Because if you hear these songs, they will change your life
Hell
for
yeah.
the better.
All right. Well, thank you for sitting down with us. This has been Jim when nothing works, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.